delicious. Good morning, Tom Spellman here with Dave Wilson Nursery. It's an early August morning here in the Central Valley. We're here in our backyard test orchard, and it's time to do some summer pruning. We were just discussing irrigation, and we realized that we irrigated once right at the end of May and once about mid-July. We've only irrigated this test orchard 2 times this whole summer in respect for the California drought. And the trees look good. The fruit set was good, the size is good, the vigor's good. I don't have any complaints, and I relate it all to one thing: the beautiful mulch layer that we've got on the ground. We've done a great job of keeping this project mulched and keeping a check on the soil and only irrigating when we absolutely need to. We don't have as much vigor as we've had a couple of years before, but we still have enough where we need to go through and do some summer checking. So I brought my big Felcos with me today. Let's get started. This is our 3-in-1. It's Tomcott Apricot, Bella Gold Picatum, and Flavorella Plumcott. As you can see, it's got lots of fruiting wood down here. There's lots of this little spur wood developing that's going to bloom next spring and give us our fruit set next year. And then we've got some vigor. We've got a lot of these branches that have really come up and have grown out, 5 feet, 6 feet. So this is not fruiting wood. This wood is just vegetative growth that is already too big for the structure that we've developed. So what we're going to do is we're going to check this vigor this morning. I just like to work my way around the tree, just one step at a time. I'm not looking for the center growth right now. I'm just looking for what's around the outside. So these varieties have all done really well this year. We had great fruit sets on them, and we've got lots of fruiting wood developed for next year. So this is really just an opportunity to bring the size back down. Sometimes I may choose to make a cut like this, where you can see we've made a cut before, and we've got this nice fork development here, but I really don't need it. It's too high. So instead of making 4 or 5 cuts, I'm going to make 1 cut and take the whole thing out. Okay, just a few minutes time and our apricot interspecific combo is ready for the rest of the summer. We've got it size managed. We've still got all our fruiting wood on it for next season. We've got good development, good air movement. We didn't open up the center too much to allow for sunburn. We just took the top out. So we basically left a canopy over the center so that we don't get that bright, hot afternoon sun exposure and burn some of those tender branches that are in the center. So this one's ready to go. Let's move on. This is our 4-in-1, peach, nectarine, nectaplum combo. One of my favorite combinations in the whole landscape here. And this one's really got some vigor on the sides. It's grown upright, but it's also grown out. So we're going to do a little bit more removal on the side growth. But again, I'm gonna leave that southwest face so that we're really not opening it up to sunburn damage. Always pay attention to sunburn damage when you're pruning in midsummer, especially on tender subtropicals like citrus or avocados. These are not so important. Deciduous fruits aren't as susceptible, but they will still sunburn. But avocados, you'd be in trouble if you prune heavy on an avocado and you don't protect it from sunburn with whitewash. Okay, another few minutes on this 4-in-1 combo and we're done for the summer. You got to remember, summer pruning isn't detail pruning. Summer pruning is just strictly in place for size control. So there are a lot of branches here that we didn't touch, but we took all the vigor out, all the upright vigor, and reduced the side growth a little bit so that as this tree finishes off in the summer and the fall, we've got plenty of good production wood for next season. If you're concerned with the detail work, dead wood, diseased wood, broken branches, crisscrossing branches, opening up the center, that's best done during the dormant season when the tree loses its leaves and you can see the whole structure and have plenty to work with. So we're not even going to take that into consideration right now. All we're doing is checking vigor. And a lot of people question me, well, where's the vigor? What am I looking for? What kind of wood am I looking for? It's just those long shoots, the long lanky shoots that we talked about. This is vigor. This was way up on top and it's got way too much growth. So we don't need all that. The best advice I can give anybody as far as pruning, whether it's summer pruning or winter pruning, spend time with your trees. The more you get out and work with your trees, the more you look at the structure, the more you get used to the way that they grow, where they flower, where the fruit sets. That's going to make you the expert pruner. It's not about sending somebody an email and asking how to prune, or sending a picture of your tree and saying, how would I prune this tree? Spend time with your trees. The more you do, the better you get. So here's a good representation of the difference between vegetative growth and fruiting and flowering wood. The sample here on the left is just fast spring and early summer growth. All the buds are elongated, all the buds are vegetative. If you made a cut there now, you're going to get regrowth of foliage. Here on the branch on the right, you can see the short tufts of growth, the more fatter elongated buds. This is all flowering wood for next spring. So at every one of these buds, we're going to get flowers, where at every one of these buds, we're going to get leaf growth. So you can clearly see on the vegetative branch here on the left, these elongated foliage buds, one leaf coming from each node. So you're going to get regrowth of foliage from these buds. Where this branch here, you can see multiple leaf clusters from each one of the buds, elongated short buds, very short internode. This is where you're going to get your flowers. This is where your fruit's going to come from next season. When you're pruning multi-budded fruit trees during the summer pruning season, you want to pay a little bit more attention. Now, hopefully nobody's going to come in and start making summer cuts down here in this crotch area, because if you do, you're eliminating grafts off of your tree. So as opposed to a single budded fruit tree that's grafted down low, maybe 6 inches off the ground, these multi-budded trees are grafted up at about 2 feet. So here's a 3-in-1 pluot combo. It's Splash, Flavor Grenade, Geo Pride. So it's got 3 varieties, 1, 2, 3, all on the tree. And I want to make sure that I'm maintaining integrity of all 3 of those varieties. And when I am pruning, I'm always looking for balance. So this variety, Splash, is definitely the most vigorous of the 3. It's got a big double forked branch where the other 2 just have a single, and it's got more growth on it. So we're gonna be a little bit more aggressive with that. And I don't mind coming down and just start taking out vigor. Here again, we've got lots of fruiting wood for next year. This is all gonna flower and set fruit for next year. So I'm just looking for this vegetative growth. I'm just looking for this type of wood that's just grown out this season. It just has leafy greens on it. It doesn't have any flowering spurs or flowering buds on it. It's really not going to give us fruit, and it's too high in the tree anyway, so I'm never going to give it an opportunity to fruit. So now's when we want to remove that vigor. So we're about 2 hours into the project. There's 4 of us working on it. We've pruned about 40 trees already. Even though it's August, it hasn't been too bad a morning. I'm working up a little bit of a sweat, but feels good to get out in the sun in the early morning and get some work done. This is our low cut material, which we're trying to keep at about 6 feet or less. This is Santa Rosa Plum, Flavor Finale Pluot, Cotton Candy Aprium. So kind of finish off on these. I'm just again going to go back in, look for the vigor, take out these long vigorous shoots, and try and keep this down at less than 6 feet. Just kind of one step at a time. So you go and do a level and then come into the next level. Just work your way around the tree, work your way into the center. Nothing complicated. Again, you don't have to touch every branch. I'm not worried about any of this. I'm just worried about these longer, more vigorous shoots. That's where I'm gonna concentrate my attention this morning, and we'll come back in the late fall or early winter and do a little bit of detail work, and then we'll be good for next season. I'm Tom Spellman with Dave Wilson Nursery. Spend some time with your trees. Delicious.